versus Roy Jones Jr., The Last Dance. Mike Tyson emerged at the end of the classic boxing era, an era of memorable fights and historic matches in the 60s and 70s. The Rumble in the Jungle was nothing more than a glorious, distant memory. The heavyweight fighters of the era, Ali, Frazier, Foreman, Larry Holmes, and Sugar Ray, were either retired or in the eclipse of their careers. And the world of boxing was ready to crown a new champion. Welcome to Trend Fluent. We're bringing you the latest, weirdest, and quite frankly, the best videos on YouTube. Before we proceed, be sure to throw a quick jab to the subscribe button and KO the notification bell so that you never miss our future uploads. Mike Tyson was all 5 feet 10 inches of muscle, aggression, loathing, and anger. He fought with a unique but lethal combination of lightning speed and untamed power that put the fear of God into the hearts of his rivals. When they stepped into the ring with him, Tyson closed in on his opponents with the determination of a pit bull, hitting them with the force of a 12-ton wrecking ball. Now, at 54 years of age, the man is returning to the ring to face Roy Jones Jr. The two sporting legends will clash in an exhibition fight on November 28th at the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. It is likely going to be Mike Tyson's last dance. And while the fight is supposed to be an exhibition to demonstrate the boxing talent of these two professionals, with the media talk surrounding both athletes, it looks like it may just turn into a full-blown boxing match, just like the old times. Tyson's opponent, Roy Jones Jr., now 51, retired from boxing in 2018 after a 29-year-long career, with 75 fights and a total of 66 wins under his belt. He competed in boxing from 1989 to 2018 and held multiple world championships in 4 weight classes, including titles at middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and at heavyweight. He was also the only boxer in history to start his professional career at junior middleweight and go on to win a heavyweight title. When Roy finished his last bout in 2018, defeating Scott Sigmund, he openly addressed Dana White, the infamous president of the UFC, that the only thing to make him return to the ring would be a fight with UFC champion Anderson Spider Silva. Well, it looks like he reconsidered and couldn't pass on the opportunity of facing Iron Mike. As you may know, Mike's career wasn't all glory, so here's a testament to this fantastic career. The good, the bad, and, well...
Be a good boyfriend.
Put your mother in the straight jacket, you punk ass white boy. Come here and tell me that if I fuck you in your ass, you punk white boy.
The ugly. In 1985, his first year as a professional fighter, Tyson fought 15 bouts and won them all, starting with his first ever professional fight against Hector Mercedes, which he won by way of first-round knockout. Things were looking good for the young fighter, and he quickly racked up a string of victories, easily beating his opponents through first-round knockouts. Gradually, the media began to take notice of the new kid on the block. Soon after, tragedy hit when Mike Tyson's coach, guardian, mentor, and father figure, Cus D'Amato, died in 1985. It was D'Amato who became Tyson's legal guardian after the young boxer's mother died when he was 16 years old. However, D'Amato's death didn't seem to slow down Tyson's performance. In 1986, he began fighting for a national audience on live television, racking up more ringside wins. On November 22, 1986, a 20-year-old Tyson won his first title fight for the World Boxing Council WBC Heavyweight Championship when he beat Trevor Berbick by knocking him out in the second round. Tyson set a world record that night by becoming the youngest ever heavyweight champion in history. The event made the media formally acknowledge the birth of a new star. In the eyes of the media that would eventually come to detest him, Tyson was more than a champion. Donald Saunders, a sports journalist with the Daily Telegraph, wrote, "The noble and manly art of boxing can at least cease worrying about its immediate future. Now it has discovered a heavyweight champion fit to stand alongside Dempsey, Tunney, Lewis, Marciano, and Ali." After defending his title against James Smith in 1987, Tyson scooped up Smith's World Boxing Association WBA title and proceeded to win the International Boxing Federation IBF title a few months later, making Tyson the first heavyweight to own all 3 major belts, the WBA, WBC, and IBF, at the same time. In 1988, Mike Tyson cemented his reputation as an all-time great by beating two legends of boxing in a couple of epic boxing bouts. The first was against former heavyweight champion Larry Holmes in an event billed as Heavyweight History. Tyson's next epic fight was against Michael Spinks in June 1988. Boxing fans hoping for a classic heavyweight battle of styles were left disappointed when Tyson dominated a terrified Spinks who lasted a mere 90 seconds before hitting the canvas in submission. Fall from grace. Tyson's fight with Spinks was considered the pinnacle of his career. His troubles began to emerge shortly amid allegations of suicide attempts and spousal abuse, including his wife's revelations that Tyson was manic depressive. Indeed, the personal demons began to emerge from the woodwork. Tyson fired his manager, Bill Caton, and also his longtime trainer, Kevin Rooney, the man who took over Tyson's training after the death of Cus D'Amato. With Rooney's departure, Don King, the flamboyant hustler and boxing promoter, entered the picture, and Tyson's life lost direction. His boxing declined and fought fewer bouts while partying excessively. The end came on February 11, 1990, when Tyson lost his undisputed championship to Buster Douglas via a 10th round hook that sent him crashing to the canvas for the first time in his career. Rise of the Demons. After his shocking defeat, Tyson managed a series of comeback bouts, but he was soon arrested and jailed on rape charges. He easily won the WBC title back from Frank Bruno in 1996, but in what was considered an easy match against a washed-up former champion, Tyson was handed a demoralizing loss by Evander Holyfield. That first fight against Holyfield was the first public confirmation that Tyson's career ended back in 1990. But most boxing fans and the public weren't ready to admit that it was all over. Mike Tyson's demons were gathering for the final breakout, and it was the relentless abuse he suffered at the hands of Evander Holyfield during the 1997 rematch that finally burst the dam. When Tyson suffered an on-ring meltdown and bit Holyfield's ear, drawing blood and earning the disqualification, he lost a part of his soul. And from that moment, the former world champion, whose controlled fury in the ring earned him a place amongst the greatest names in the sport, was eventually consumed and disfigured by madness and violence. The drug arrests, the 1-year imprisonment for road rage assault, and successive defeats in the ring by barely functional fighters all served to fuel Tyson's appetite for self-destruction. He talked openly about ending it all, and he wasn't referring to his self-destructive ways. Return to the ring. Bankruptcy has a way of humbling an individual, but experiencing the loss of a child offers up a whole new perspective on life. When Exodus, Tyson's 4-year-old daughter, died in a domestic accident, Tyson knew he needed to get honest about his life, or he'd be joining her soon. So how do you clean up a 30-year-long act that's robbed you of all vestiges of respect, peace, and self-control? I surrendered, he admitted. All I once knew was how to hurt people, but I'm just happy I'm not that same person, he told the Guardian reporter Donald McRae. In the end, did Tyson work out his own version of happiness? I look at it as just living healthily with a good moral sense, having morality. You know, any self-inventory I do tells me the same thing. I look back at the life I once had, and I see that I didn't have an emotional problem. I had a morality problem. I was without any morals, Tyson recounted. Many people never got the chance to realize their potential. As a black kid running wild in the ghetto, Mike Tyson recalled that his best friends were thieves, murderers, and drug dealers who are now either dead, in prison, or have become homeless addicts. Mike Tyson's unique talents were enhanced by people who helped him rise to the top. His crash down to the bottom wasn't the fault of a biased system. Tyson got a chance to pick his odds, he just didn't pick the right ones. Like many young men from broken backgrounds, what boxing merely did for Tyson was to postpone the inevitable. But even then, he still got lucky. A lot of people didn't get to reclaim their souls the way he did, and Tyson still knows he's been blessed. He'd seen a future where there's a lot of good to be done for folks who ended up the way he almost did: bankrupt, homeless, irrevocably damaged. That's the reason for Tyson's return to the ring. Mike Tyson's return to the ring after a 15-year-long absence shouldn't be regarded as another retired boxer's attempt to nail a final payday. The truth is far from whatever the pundits and cynical television hosts might be saying. For fans expecting a return of the baddest man on the planet, expect to be disappointed. Mike Tyson has made his peace with a sport that pulls no punches. He has no option but to continue giving his life to boxing because it was boxing that gave him life. Thank you for watching Trend Fluid. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated with the latest trends, please subscribe and share this video with your friends. We'll see you next time.